You probably know that Ravensburger have a few series that are really interesting, but you probably don't know how many different series exist, and especially how many different series actually have very interesting stuff that you've never heard about. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually cover Ravensburger different series here, and really not series like art series or challenge series or Italian or Mexican series, because those are just regular puzzles. We're just going to go actually through puzzles that are somewhat very unique in a way that they're just not what you get out of the box, basically. So we'll start with the wood series. There are 12 of those wooden puzzles. They're made of wood, of course. They are coming inside in a bag that's made of paper bag, and it has a very, very strong wood, kind of burned wood smell. It has whimsies inside, and so if you like those, you really need to get those. And I forget to say, I'm Lisa from Puzzles by Lisa. Please subscribe, and please watch and share and like and comment and all the rest. And thank you for watching, of course. So the wooden puzzles are actually new. They're being made in Poland, and so that is very different than the regular puzzles. They're made in Germany, and they're still being created. I don't know how many of them they're going to create, but basically Ravensburger did that as some type of an experiment to see if it's going to be successful or not. So if you like them, they are more expensive, but they're not as expensive as some wooden puzzles that are other, and they do have really good quality of print. And if you like wooden stuff, then this series with the wood finish might be interesting for you. That one has a few puzzles. I do have to tell you in advance, it is very, very brown. So that means that it's very hard to do. I've done one of them so far with the 3 cups of coffee, and I was very, very surprised how brown it was. It took me forever to actually finish the puzzle. But the feel is very kind of like wooden, even though it's just like a print. And the colors are just very, very bright. And now for a series you probably know, the Crypt series. So Crypt is basically like puzzles that most of the time don't have color or have very little color. The interesting thing is the way and the shape that they're cut. They're actually cut in 4 or 5 different ways, I think. And there are a few that are cut in the exact same way, so you can actually replace the colors if you want to. And there are some very rare ones that actually have a different kind of patterns, but they're harder to get. The one I liked the most was the one that actually had different colors, but that you can still buy, so that's actually pretty awesome. Talking about senses and wooden and stuff like that, there is a series called Sensory, and that series actually has different finishes. I don't have all of them, unfortunately, but I do have a bunch of them. So this one has a Japanese paper, and so when you do the puzzle, it feels slightly different. That actually don't make a big difference, but this one has a velvet finish. And so the whole point of Sensory, as you can imagine, is that you can sense in your fingers that it's kind of different. And so there are a few of them. They're harder to get because they've been created actually a few years ago. Both of those have been created in 2009 and 2011. So they're not actually being created anymore. And with that, I'm gonna switch to something that I sold. There is a series called Flaccati, and Flaccati is also having velvet. And actually there is Flaccati Junior, which is for kids, and Flaccati for adults. And they also have velvet inside the puzzles. So if you like that type of stuff, again, those are not being created, unfortunately, anymore. So just that you know that that's kind of it. If we want to use, again, like our sense of touch, Another series is the Brilliant series. Brilliant series is actually a series that comes with some kind of like decoration stones. And so I never actually do that. The puzzle itself is like more glowy, but you get a bunch of stones and you get tape and some more stones, and then you can actually tape those stones on top of the puzzle. I am not doing that to the puzzle because I like the puzzle the way it is, but I'll share a closer photo with you, and I'm going to do a full video just on Brilliant. But again, the puzzle itself is actually starting more glowy to start with, but then there is all of those rocks basically. And then if we want to go from there to another kind of like glossy thing, there is this one, and this one is called Gloss Effect, and the puzzle is slightly more glossy than other puzzles. I don't think it's actually absolutely crazy, but it is slightly more glossy than other puzzles. The ones that I liked I've done. This one is one that is not so compelling, as you can guess, but there are some really nice ones, like the ones with the chocolate sweets, with the one with the soap, and they're actually pretty amazing. Then you have Collection Metallic. Collection Metallic, as you can imagine, have a bunch of metallic pieces to them. And so basically the puzzle has a lot of like gold stuff in it, and that means that it's slightly harder than other puzzles. There are quite a bunch of those, but again, that's not being created anymore. This one was created in 2009, and today you can't buy them anymore. And another collection that you can't buy and actually becomes very expensive is Collection Exclusive, and that also actually has pieces that are gold and pieces that are silver. I don't know what's the difference actually between the two series. I think they're quite the same. Like this one has more colors, but it does have some pieces with gold. And the other one is mainly gold, so maybe that's the main difference. And then if you're into gold, there is a Touch of Gold series. And the Touch of Gold series has something like 5 puzzles in it. And the 5 puzzles, again, have the gold, and then you get some more gold if you wanted to add some gold, and you have this brush. So now it's kind of like the decoration stones in Brilliant. You can add your own touch into it if you wanted to. So since we are all into glossy things, we also have the Reflection series, which is extremely glossy as well. And if you, that one is a kid's kind of like thing, and it basically reflects, as you can imagine, but it's really like reflection. So if you are in a bad lighting place, it's very hard to do this one. And actually, if I talk about that, let me go to the most horrible puzzle set that I've ever done. No, maybe the second most horrible. This one, the Vision Line. Vision Line, maybe you can see that in the video. It means that when you change the angle, you see a different thing. And now imagine all of the pieces are like that. It can definitely mess with your brain. So I've done one of them. I have 2 of them, and I do not recommend. Ravensburger stopped doing these, probably for that reason. It was kind of horrible. But if you get a Vision Line, they're not easy to get these days because they're from the late 1990s. This one is from 2001, but they do not exist anymore as well. Okay, and more fun stuff is the Relief Line. Relief Line have 7 puzzles, I believe. I can check later. But the nice thing about Relief Line is that actually, like, that's also like something that you can feel. you have pieces inside the box that actually have 2 layers to them. Let me try to open this so you can actually get to see one. Or you know what, I'll just take a photo at some point. But so there are puzzle pieces that are just the usual one. I'm trying to find one that's interesting here. Can't find the interesting ones. Okay, so there are puzzle pieces that some of them are 1 layer and some of them are 2 layer and some of them are both. Like this one is 2 layers and this one is 1 layer and 2 layer at the same time. And so what it means is that there is basically a line, which is the relief line, and everything like here is going to be the 2 layer thing and everything here is going to be the 1 layer thing. So the tigers would be the 2 layer and stuff like that. And that is really, really fun. I still have 2, but I've done all the rest of them. I think this was one that was the hardest to get for me, at least. Okay, so I think maybe last thing that have some physical difference is this one. And this is Puzzle X Crime. Actually, this is not a puzzle. It's a puzzle that really has in it a game. So you have game pieces, you have instructions, and basically you put the puzzle, but you play a game. It's a game about a crime, as you can imagine. And that's much more expensive than other puzzles because of that game. So, just that you know, there are a few of them. They're all in German, but I guess you could translate them if you wanted. Okay, something slightly different with the Starline series. Starline series is a series that glows in the dark. It just glows in the dark in white or green, and that's basically like a very, very long line. There are actually still Starline puzzles that are being created, and you can find them. The older ones are harder to get, but the new ones I think are only like 500 pieces, but Ravensburger is still creating them. And then you have the color Starline, which is a thing that actually like really glows in multiple colors. This is a much harder to get series because it doesn't exist actually anymore. It exists in 1,000 pieces or 1,200 pieces. It exists in this kind of box, which is a regular box of Ravensburger, or there is some that are in giant boxes, actually same size puzzle, but just for some reason giant boxes. And that is basically like stuff that some of those are extremely harder to get. Not as hard as the exclusive series, but definitely not easy. Okay, from here, just quick, you have a series that's called the extra format, and that extra format actually comes in just slightly larger pieces. I just decided to put it because, like, if you want to know if a puzzle is like that or not. Of course, there is a large format, which is different boxes and stuff, but I wouldn't consider them actually like a series, where extra format is just somewhat larger and actually more. And some of those are coming also in a shape, like there is a heart in the middle or something like that. Okay. Something that is looking like a regular puzzle, but it's actually not, is the puzzle with Look and Find. Look and Find actually is you just do the puzzle and then later you look closely at the image and then you can actually find more stuff in it. Like, for example, in this puzzle, you have 19 additional dolphins that you can find in the puzzle, in addition to what you actually see in front of you. And so the point is that they actually like really hid them inside. And the person that did that one was Stephen Michael Gardner, and he has another series that we're going to look at in just a moment. So one more series that I don't have is Photomosaic. Photomosaic is actually a series of puzzles that actually have photomosaic pieces in them. So basically the image is a lot of like small images. I've done one with my friend Melanie, and I have to tell you that it was horrific. Now, that was even more horrible than the other one that I showed you with that vision line. So I basically don't have them, but if you do want to know, they do exist. And by the way, very interesting fact is that Photomosaic is something that is owned by Buffalo Game, and so the trademark is Buffalo Games. And so Ravensburger have to put that name on the box, and they actually put their Buffalo Games, which is kind of like funny. Slightly similar to Photomosaic, there is collage puzzles, and collage puzzles are created by Daniel Rand Pierce. Again, those things are not created anymore, so if you're like for them, you need to find somebody that will sell them for you, because you can't find them anywhere, actually in stores or something like that. So these ones, of course, are somewhat like Photomosaic, and there is a butterfly and a bear and a tiger and a bunch of like stuff like that. So you might want to know that that exists. And another series that's interesting is the series of augmented reality. And augmented reality is a series that have a few puzzles. And in the past, you could go to that website and actually you could use your phone to see an animation on the puzzle. Unfortunately, that doesn't work anymore. So it's just a series that is just regular. But it was once upon a time a special thing that was actually created to give you, in addition to the puzzle, some additional type of experience that you cannot get right now. But nice idea, maybe it will come back at some point, but it's not produced anymore. Okay, another series you all know is the Circle of Colors. That's puzzles that are just circles, and that is different than some of the previous stuff. It was even used in the World Jigsaw Competition, so everybody knows it right now. But I do want to tell you that Circle of Colors is not the only circular puzzles. There are actually a bunch of them, and there are some Disney ones that are very, very hard to get. There are some Lord of the Rings ones that are very hard to get. So there are actually like circular puzzles since forever, and they have, of course, very interesting pieces in them. But there is actually silhouette puzzles that exist with Ravensburger for a very long time, and there are a few Star Wars that are actually kind of new, but for the most part, there were actually a bunch of them that were created in the past, and now they're discontinued. In those silhouette ones, you have also some really interesting parts in the middle, where, for example, I had an African puzzle, which I sold, that had a tiger and an elephant inside. And so basically, like if you look at the Eiffel Tower one, it has Eiffel Towers that are small inside. So silhouette is another series that gives you like interesting shapes of things with interesting things in the middle as well. Okay, more stuff that's interesting. I think everybody knows that series. It's called Wasgij. And Wasgij is, of course, Jigsaw, the opposite direction. And that is something that actually like existed in many companies, specifically in Jumbo. And what the special thing here is that if you do the puzzle, it's not looking like the box. It is either from a different angle, or it is actually a different situation. Sometimes they would say something like, what's a big surprise? And so you can see the surprise, but when you actually do the thing, you could see what these people are saying. So it might be completely different, or it might be somewhat different, but it's definitely going to be different. The problem, of course, is that this is a jumbo thing, so Ravensburger needs to pay royalty for that. And so Ravensburger actually thought a little bit and said, why don't we create our own one that's called What If? And so them and Jeff Tristram created this What If series, which is basically exactly like Westgage, but it is actually just having a different name, different artist, and so they don't need to license that. And again, it gives you the same thing of like you see the situation from a different angle or from something else. The actual, I think things overall kind of similar. I like this artist is a little bit more than the one that is Westgage, but depending on you. And if you want one more thing that you don't see everything, is you have Cities of the World, which is a Ravensburger series that they really like, and you see that they hide specifically here some part of it. So basically, Frans Leroux, who's the person that created that, he does a lot of different cities, a lot of them in the Netherlands, because I think he lives there, but there is a bunch of cities in Europe, and then they hide a small part of the box, and there will be something different over there. So again, you don't see exactly what you paid for, and that's exactly like the point. Now, quick and easy ones. 2 times 500, I just want to tell you that it is actually 2 puzzles that are separately bagged, and you can just do them, and that's it. Just if you wondered what it means. 3 times 500, 3 puzzles that are separately bagged, and actually Triptychon, that is a one mix thing that have 3 frames in it, and that's actually like 3 small puzzles, but in reality that's coming in one bag. So if that's interesting for you, that's just, quick thing, not interesting series, but just like thing that you might want to know. And just in general, comment about Panorama and about the Triptychon. They are very wide puzzles that actually have 1,000 pieces exactly instead of like 1,008. So if you wanted to know that, that's just an important piece of information. And Panorama always says Panorama over here, except in Triptychon, which it has the exact same font, but it does say Triptychon and not Panorama. So I just thought you might want to know that. And now, other interesting stuff. Let's start from the older one, actually. So there is 6 puzzles from this mirror image, and that is again something that what you see is not what you get, because what you get is a mirror image of this. So it's kind of like a treat for the brain if you look at the box. If you don't look at the box, it doesn't matter at all. But basically everything is just in the other direction. And if you like that one, rear view mirror is even more interesting, because of course, not only that everything is mirrored, but also if you think about what you see from the car mirror, and if you get out of the car and you just take a photo of the back, you have more stuff over there. So rear view mirror is 3 puzzles that exist right now. And actually, not only that's upside, like that's actually like turned around in mirror image, but also there is more stuff that you can't see here that you will be able to see when you actually do the puzzle. Okay, there is another series that I wanted to mention. It's called the Glitter series. It's actually a kids series. I don't have any puzzle right now, but basically it does have glitter on it, and it's mainly kind of princesses, unicorns, and other things that definitely needs to go at the beginning with all the glowing stuff. And then what we have is exit puzzles, which is escape puzzles. And those we need to talk about a little bit more. So there are puzzles in 368 pieces and 759 pieces. And there is another escape that I will show you in a moment. But basically these are very interesting because you do a puzzle which is very unique and very interesting and most of the time very dark. And then you shouldn't put the frame around first, because the frame actually almost everything can fit everything, and that's for a good reason, because inside the escape you have basically like an escape room riddle. So the whole point is that you would see some kind of clues of numbers inside the puzzles, and they will help you solve the riddle, take the right pieces from the edges, and actually put together the solution to the exit. Now, I personally don't like that kind of stuff, but if somebody does, then there is, again, like an extra thing there. The other thing that I need to show you is that it comes with some extra pieces cut from around the puzzle that no one knows why they do exist. And I did ask actually like everybody, including the Ravensburger president in the USA. And really I didn't get an answer for like why those exist. So you can just throw them away, or if you find any use to them, let me know. But again, no one even in Ravensburger know why they exist. If you need hints, there is some hints inside the envelope. There are hints in the internet. Again, I'm not doing those things because I care more about the puzzle, but I do all the puzzles because I do enjoy the very unique images that exist there. I will attach one picture of like the pieces in the middle, like in the outside there, that you can actually see how they look. I bet if you did one of those, you already know, but just in case. And this is another exit puzzle that actually existed. There are 6 of them, and basically when you do this puzzle, the puzzle has a round middle and it has stuff around it, and you get a wheel like this, and then it will help you figure out again the pieces, and then you can actually like find out the solution of the riddle. So you have some instructions here at the back how you use the wheel to actually figure out the solution. Again, I've done actually 2 out of the 6 puzzles here, but I've not done the riddle because I'm not that interested in it. The first one was London, Rome, and Paris, actually like places, and the other one here is basically like the years 1683, 1883, and 2083. So basically like it's like past, and future type of thing, and you can see here how that looks. And I think with that, we covered all the interesting puzzle series that exist with Ravensburger that you are probably going to encounter. I think I didn't miss anything. I hope I didn't miss anything. And I will start by saying thank you for watching. And if you want any more special videos, let me know. And if you want to find interesting series, go explore my website. It does have pretty much everything. So if you're looking for some of those really, really, really rare stuff, you know where to find it, and you know where to find the list, and you know how to get to me. So, maybe more important thing, if you like my puzzle shorts, you should actually go and register to Puzzles by Liza Ravensburger, which is my other YouTube, because I wanted to leave this one just for the long videos. So please subscribe to this one. Please subscribe to the other one. And thank you for watching. See you later. Bye-bye.